Hi guys, I'm Alix Wilton Regan. You may now know me as Lady Lara Croft, and welcome to the Ready Aim Fire podcast.
Alix Wilton Regan, welcome to the Ready Aim Fire podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to start by just asking you a very simple question. What got you into the world of acting?
Acting, I always wanted to be an actor. I don't think I knew what being an actor was, but I never wanted to do anything else. I remember doing a one-child rendition of the entirety of Sleeping Beauty when I was 4 and forcing my family and extended family to sit down on couches and watch as I played every single part in Sleeping Beauty.
How did you play Belle and the Beast at the same time?
No, Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, Sleeping Beauty. Oh, where Disney
You just have to slip into character like this when you're asleep. And then you get up and you say, pretend I'm still asleep. And then you go, and then you're the prince, and then you kiss a pillow, and you wake her up. Standard. Imagination. You know? So I always wanted to be an actor. I never wanted to do anything else. I have no idea why. I have absolutely zero, theatre blood in my family. I don't really have any artists in my family. I have business people and lawyers and teachers and managers and
incredibly
CEOs,
sensible professional people,
really sensible, smart jobs, and I did fuck all of that. And I made a pact with my parents: if I get 3 A's at A level, I will have proven to the establishment that I could have gone to any university of my choosing because I'll have my 3 A's. And if I get those 3 A's, I will not go to university. I will go to drama school. And I got my 3 A's and I waved them in front of their faces. And they're like, see, you're so clever. You could go to university. I went, I'm going to drama school.
Nice.
So,
and you were the youngest ever student admitted to the Drama Studio London?
I was the youngest ever student admitted to Drama Studio London at the time. I don't know what their kind of policies are. I was absolutely the youngest. And the reason I got in was because I was in a school play, when I was 16. And I got approached by a lovely agent called Andrew Braidford at BWH, who is still going today. Shout out to Andrew. And he signed me and I started working. And because I started working, these counted as almost like coursework credits.
Okay.
So a lot of the other people who were coming, it was designed as a postgrad. They had their undergrad, but they actually had no industry experience. They hadn't been on camera or done anything like that, whereas I had. So it was used as coursework credits to count towards this postgrad, which I obviously didn't complete because I'm not interested in that side of things at all. And yeah, the rest, as they say, is kind of history, basically. I was at the time the youngest. It was difficult in parts. I was quite lonely. I was 18 or 19 and everyone else was like 24. And I think at that stage of your life, there is a big gap. And I do remember feeling excluded, and I hadn't had the university experience, but it was what it was. Yeah.
Thanks for watching the Ready Aim Fire podcast. If you're enjoying what we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're already subscribed, then don't forget to share the love with your friends and family. Your support means everything to us, and it means that we can keep bringing you the inside stories behind your favourite games. Thanks, guys. See you on the next episode. You've worked both on film and theatre with quite a lot of legendary actors. I'm thinking Jonathan Pryce, Glenn Close. What is that experience like? And do you find yourself as an actor just standing in awe of these legends or that as well? But
100%.
Do you learn from them? How do you learn from them?
Yes and yes to both. I find myself absolutely in awe of these titans of acting, definitely. Working with Glenn Close, that was a dream of mine. She was always one of my icons. I think she is so fearless and brave in her choices and in her parts, and also to a certain extent, and I think she herself would agree with this, she has been slightly the underdog at points. She's 8 times nominated for an Oscar, not yet won, even though she should have won it 8 times over. And so there's something there that I relate to, that she's slightly an outsider. So when I got cast as her daughter in The Wife, which, shout out to Jonathan Pryce, full circle, he sent me the script to read before casting had released it.
Because you'd worked in a play with him.
Because I'd worked with him on King Lear. So because I worked with Jonathan, we did 3 months of rehearsal and then 3 months on stage, something like that. So because I'd worked with Jonathan for such a long time, when I was down to the recalls for The Wife and I knew that he'd been cast, I sent him a little email. I was like, hey, John, do us a favor, send us the scripts. And he did, And that was just amazing. Yeah, Glenn Close and Jonathan Pryce's daughter, Max Lyons' sister. And I remember doing a scene, and it's still in the film. If you watch the film, you can see it. It's one of the earlier scenes of the film, there's a huge party celebrating Jonathan's success. And in the take, completely, impulsively, Glenn, she tips her head like this and she just puts her head on my shoulder. And I remember the camera's rolling and my brain going, fucking hell! Glenn's got her head on my shoulder. Oh my God, this is so cool. Don't break character. Hey, Mom. Do you know, like doing my best, like just be chill. But it made it into the film. And also with Max, I say, hey, monkey. Because I was just like, I have a brother and I call him Stinky, standard. And
Shout out to Stinky.
And, it's lovely. Like, they're very instinctive actors. They're very impulsive. It was a really chilled shoot. The director, Bjorn, was amazing. I felt very lucky. And then, just this summer, I got to work with Zoe Wanamaker on season 2 of Bergerac. Zoe Wanamaker, I mean, like that, Sam Wanamaker's daughter, an industry titan in her own right. She's done everything. Her stories are fucking hilarious. Highly recommend having vodka with her as the day comes to a close, and it's just the story, like she's talking about, Tony, Sir Anthony Hopkins is who she meant, and I'm here for all of those stories. Yeah. I'm here for them. I want all the names. I want all the drops. I'm here for it. I got to work with Jessica Hines this summer as well on camera on a TV show called Patience. And it's going to be season 2 of Patience. I was in season 1. I'm coming back for season 2. And she was so real. She was so real. She was the epitome of a kind of real working actor, flaws and all, charms and all, supremely brilliant. And can't remember your question. I just feel very lucky.
It's fully answered, yeah. I mean, so how does all of that translate into video games? How did you get your start in video games?
Left drama school, had done really well at the Carlton Hobbs competition, which is a competition run by BBC Radio 4. It is still going. And I represented my school, my drama school, at the BBC Radio 4 Carlton Hobbs competition, and I won 2 special commendations, one for Best Shakespearean Monologue and one for Best Contemporary Duologue. So I knew I could, do something with my voice, but I never really thought much more about it. I rest heavily on instinct, and dare I say the T word, but it's kind of dawning on me that I might be okay, like a tiny bit of talent. I am, yeah, you laugh, okay, but I'm like the last person that got the memo about having any talent. I was very badly bullied at school. Should caveat all this. I was so badly bullied from about the age of 13 to 16. It was a really intense, traumatic, horrible time of my life. I mean, like physical violence, being spat on, like having, death notes left in your backpack, which of course seem laughable because you're 13, 14, but really negatively impacted my life and has shaped the entirety of my being up until this day. So I think what happened was when people were nice to me or would give me a compliment, I just couldn't internalize it. I couldn't digest it. They sort of bounced off me.
Because you didn't trust it?
I didn't trust it. And, I have thought a lot about this over the last, 20 years now. When you're bullied as a teenager, and so many people watching this will be able to relate to this, right? But when you're bullied as a teenager, your body is physically growing. Your hormones are physically changing. The neural pathways in your brain are developing. And it is such a period of growth, right? Your teenage years, physical growth. If you are bombarded with negativity, violence, bullying, threats, if you are bombarded with that every single day that you're in school for 300 days of the year for 3 years, it grows into your bones. And that's how I've described it to people, as I feel like I have this sort of negativity literally fused into the magnesium of my bones. And I hate it and I wish it wasn't there, but I'm now finally starting to understand, actually I am talented and that's why I work. But I didn't get that memo until maybe last week at the Game Awards. It was kind of when it sort of hit me like a ton of bricks. We'll get to Tomb Raider, but even doing that, has still been littered with insecurities, self-doubts. Can I do this? Blah, 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 blah. I cannot remember where I was going. We were talking about video games, how I got into it. So left drama school, did kind of well at the Carlton Hobbs, was earning my stripes. So earning my stripes is what I call when you do Casualty, The Bill, it's the bit parts that kind of gets used to being on set. So I was doing my earning my stripes, but not really making any money. I was a great waitress. I was charming. I was cool. I was really interested I'm very interested in customer service. No surprises there. I was a great waitress. I was a great hostess in a cocktail bar. You know, I did all that. But it obviously wasn't my passion. So I wrote off to, it was like 18, how many different voiceover agencies? It was a lot of voiceover agencies. I did 3 rounds over 18 months. I remember this very clearly because round 1, no one bit. Round 2, no one bit. Round 3, one of the last agencies that I wrote to, they're called Rhubarb. Shout out to Rhubarb, they're still going. And I know that it was one of the last ones because it started with an R. And we went down the list alphabetically. And they said, yeah, we'll sign you. First audition for a video game I had was Dragon Age Origins. Wow. I got the job. It was more money than I'd ever seen in my life back then. And I was thrilled. And the rest, as they say, is history.
I love that game.
Yeah.
I love Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah.
And I love another one of the franchises that you worked on. I bought Mass Effect 1
Yes.
and Dragon Age Origins on the same day.
Yes.
Mass Effect's one of my favourite games.
Yes. Incredible. Shout out to Jen and Mark. Absolutely.
Yeah. When you saw we did an interview with Jen.
I listened to it just this morning.
Incredible.
She is incredible.
So I want to move on to Divinity, Original Sin 1 and 2.
Yes, Sibille.
So how did you land the role of Sibille in Divinity?
Just audition for it, I guess, like everyone else that would have been in that game. I mean, certainly I didn't audition for Divinity Original Sin 2 because obviously it was Sibille coming back. I remember she was cocky, she was angry, she had a vendetta, she was really fun, loved working for Larian, was genuinely thrilled for them with the success of Baldur's Gate 3 because it sort of put Larian on the map in a way that I think they had probably craved but not quite attained with Divinity 1 and Divinity 2. And, you know, I still get asked for her autograph today, for Sibille's autograph. And it's been a while. Like, when did Divinity Original Sin 1 come out?
That's a very good... I want to say 2015.
I was just going to say, I think maybe even more, maybe like 12 years, at least 10 years ago, if not 12.
Because I remember... so me and my wife like playing couch co-op games, and there's vanishingly few couch co-op games that aren't like just silly.
Yes.
Like sometimes you want something you can dig your teeth into.
Yeah.
And we picked up Divinity Original Sin 1, loved it.
Yeah.
And then while we were playing 2, they announced Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, it's the same guy. It's incredible.
Yes.
Obviously, you know, the rest, as you say, is history with Baldur's Gate 3.
I'm very excited to see them bring back Divinity.
Yes, Divinity 3.
That I'm excited about.
Yeah.
That I'm like, you go team.
The trailer was awesome.
The trailer was brilliant. You know, I was in the room when it happened. They killed it at the Game Awards. It has that kind of shock and awe factor whilst also being very beautiful, which we would expect from their studio. And I loved the Wicker Man undertones.
Yes,
I thought that was really cool.
Very
I was
cool.
like, yeah, you guys killed that. I said it to Sven at the after party.
Oh, nice.
Actually. I was like, you killed that. He was like, thank you. I know. He's like, thank you very much.
Was he dressed up this year?
No, he wasn't. He was in like a hoodie. He was quite casual.
Nice and casual. So working with Larian, said it's a great experience.
Yeah, it is a great experience.
How much do they give you room to like experiment with the voice and personality of a character?
Loads. With Sibille, I had loads of room. Obviously, I wasn't in Baldur's Gate, so I don't know what their experience was. But certainly for 1 and 2, it was fun. It was cheeky. You know, I was allowed to suggest delicate rewrites, or not a rewrite. What's a better description? A sort of when you just have a really good idea as an actor and you're like, hey, if we use this word instead of this word.
Like a note? Would you say a note?
Not even a note. It's more like it's something that adds more flavor and more characterization to the part that you're playing. Anything that adds sort of character and just more, makes Sibille more Sibille. I love working with writers and studios who will let you do that. So I had a lot of freedom and I had a really good time on it.
Great. With the gameplay itself, because obviously it's so layered and you can go down 1,000 different paths. How do you prepare for that when you're acting that role? How do you prepare for the different emotions that you have to bring to the same scenes? I was lucky because I'd done
the Inquisitor by that point.
Okay.
So, or I was doing them at the same time or something, but really the Inquisitor is the character that helped me just understand what was required of different branching text, basically. How do you do it? I have no idea. I don't know. You just got to go for it with your whole chest. You know, you got to lead with your chest and kind of pounce on it and make it work.
Are there any like sort of touchstones or things that you use to get yourself into a certain emotion?
Yes, but it also depends on the character.
Right, okay.
I definitely go through stages where I have to take off my shoes in the booth. so that I feel really grounded.
Is that like John McClane in Die Hard?
Yeah,
kind of thing?
like you need to feel the earth, the cement beneath your feet, you know.
Well, hopefully not the plush,
cheap
the
carpet,
plush carpet. Oh, cheap
which is
carpet.
quite
Okay.
cheap, actually.
Come on, Larry.
And, you know, I go through stages, like when I was playing Alt Cunningham in Cyberpunk, I went through a stage of doing lots of Tai Chi in the booth. When I'm playing Angry, when I'm doing like Carillion in Warhammer, which is still going, it's a lot of swords that come into that, a lot of like, you know, anger, even if she's not wielding a sword in that particular scene. You know, she sort of has that sword energy. It's about energy, I think. Like, how can you manipulate your energy in that moment? And really sad stuff, really difficult stuff. Like, the most emotional character I've ever played was Tazzy Trianon from Amnesia Rebirth. She's one of my absolute favorite characters that I've ever done. Not many people know about her, but it was stellar writing, and it gave me the opportunity to just go on this incredible ride as a performer, which I felt really grateful for. And they stuck a fake bump to me because she's pregnant in it, so which grounded me and gave me weight. And then in the birthing scene, I was like, okay, guys, we're moving the mic. And I literally, you think I'm joking, I cleared the furniture, got on the floor, legs akimbo, put the microphone there, like about that far from me, you know, like right over the, and then we just gave birth. And I was so loud that the other studios had to stop recording because I was screaming through the soundproofing. True story.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you know, whatever it takes to give a great performance.
Whatever it takes, guys, whatever it takes.
Ready up for the boss fight. We're taking on mental ill health, and Safe in Our World needs your help. Within the world of games, we find connection, friendship, family. Within our favorite stories, we find purpose, inspiration, and a mission. And our mission as a mental health charity is to support the games industry and global gaming communities with vital signposting, training, and toolkits to level up your well-being at work and online. There's a hub of support at your fingertips. So whether you need a res or a mental health resource, visit safeinourworld.org and play safe.
I want to move on to, I mentioned it earlier, Mass Effect, one of my favorite franchises of all time. What was it like stepping into the role of Samantha Trainer?
Oh, it was fantastic because I loved it, because the main thing they were looking for with Sam was they wanted a Londoner. And I was like, I can help. Londoner, born and bred, right here. I can really help with that. So I got her. Like, we were the same age, late 20s, Londoners. You know, she's obviously gay, and I was raised in the LGBTQIA plus community, so I related to it on just a million different levels that it kind of really, it just all fit. It was like, it was a moment of synergy, and it was just great. Like, and I remember it was my first experience of Jen, you know, who is now a dear friend. You know, I've now hired Jen to work for me on one of the projects that I'm producing. Talk about going full circle, you know, and just the scenes, in particular, the end scenes where Femshep's leaving and they say their goodbyes. Those were real tears in the booth. It was really emotional. And I always make the joke that, you know, they talk about they're going to have a dog or something. And I go to the writers like, guys, they're gay. They don't have dogs. They have cats. Everyone knows this. Like, you know, which is a sort of in-joke about lesbians having cats. But anyway, sidebar. But yeah, it was just, I love Jen. She's one of my besties. Yeah, I really adore her.
So you brought up the Samantha's sexuality.
Yeah.
I believe I'm right in saying the character was actually one of the first chances to have a same-sex romance.
Yes, I think that's correct.
In Mass Effect.
Yes.
Or at least a human same-sex.
And you can't, I think that's correct, because she definitely is not into male Shep.
No.
She's only into Jen.
Yeah. Well, you obviously you were aware at the time of how meaningful that relationship would be, but what has it been like interacting with fans and people from that community?
Just amazing. Because I was raised in that community, to me it's very normal. So to me, it's not weird seeing two mums with children or two dads with children, or seeing a single mum with a child with children, or seeing a gay man that hasn't met their life partner but wants to be a dad, so has adopted. Like, I am aware that my upbringing is very different to the average mum and dad stereotypical upbringing. The privilege that gives me is that I'm sort of unshockable when it comes to sexuality, and I have lived through and experienced pretty much the entirety of the the spectrum of the rainbow. You know, if you think about the rainbow flag and what it represents in a spectrum, it's so weird. Like, I'm about to say I'm super inclusive, but that makes it seem like it's a conscious act. It's not. It's just how I was raised. I wasn't raised with homophobia, so I don't really understand it.
Yeah.
But I am aware of the volume of people that have come up to me and said, playing as FemShep, going through Sam's story, helped me realize that I was queer, gay, bi, lesbian, however they choose to describe themselves. And there is certainly a level of responsibility that comes with that. I want all people everywhere to feel included in my work, my streams. I don't stream, but should I stream? If I was to stream, I would want people to feel included.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. You know, my Instagram page. I want everyone to feel seen and heard and safe and welcome. And if I can help people to feel that way, then I've done a good job as an artist. Isn't that kind of the point? Is like mirroring back the human condition so that people can experience it.
I think that's one of the unique things about doing what you do, is that you don't just have people that are, you know, consuming the work that you make. They're genuinely like connecting with it.
They're living it.
Yeah, they're living it.
And I think that's the thing, that people who don't game or who don't work in the video game industry, or even just like my parents, right? They get it, but they don't get it. It's really hard to communicate the depth with which people experience and emotionally react to video games, because video games are active. Film is passive. I love film. I love cinema. I love nothing more than sitting down for 2 hours and not having to think about the outside world. But it is fundamentally a passive experience. Video games, as you consume them and experience them, you are having the experience as the gamer. The only thing you can compare it to would maybe be immersive theatre.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. So I understand how much some of the roles I've played, like I do sort of get it now, how much stuff has affected people. Had a wild experience where a woman wrote to me, she'd been in a car crash. She had been paralyzed from the waist down, so she was in hospital. She couldn't do anything. And they gave her video games to play. She was already a gamer, but they gave her video games to play so that she could watch in a third-person point of view the human body moving, right? As you move through, you know, the Thedas or whatever, you know, and you're watching the Inquisitor move and you're watching her walk and you're watching her run. And apparently it stimulates a part of the brain where your brain goes, oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. 6 months later, she was walking again. She was out of hospital. And she wrote me this letter, and I still have it somewhere, you know, in my, I have like a career box where I put everything. And somewhere in that box, and she literally wrote, you helped me to walk again. I mean, you think helping someone come to terms with their sexuality is, of course, huge. Helping someone to walk again, like that blew my mind, you know, and that she spent these 6 months that she was in hospital with the game, with my voice, learning to walk again and stimulating that part of the brain that helped her. That's amazing.
Well, it's like what you said, it sticks with people. It's not just like, I can watch a movie and sometimes it'll leave me completely cold.
Yeah.
Even though I respect the craft and the work
and the artistry
money and all the stuff that's gone into it, especially more recently, games have stuck with me more. That's an incredible story. Top that, our next guest. What do you think helped you make Samantha stand out in such a huge cast in such an established universe?
I have no idea. I've never been asked that before. I have no idea. Luck. Maybe. I think I got
Surely
lucky.
not just luck.
Like I said, I realised last week I have a bit of talent, so I should. But then someone's going to hook on and be like, Alix Wilton Regan thinks she's talented. It's just the realisation that there's something I can do and I don't know how I do it, and I feel lucky that I do it.
And it's worth to continue doing.
And it potentially, yes.
It might be a net positive.
It might be a net positive. You know, I think some of the best artists that I see, they sort of talk about like, you know, this might sound a bit crazy, but like they talk about channeling and you just sort of tap into something. And I sort of have to agree with them that the best actors I see, you do just kind of space out, you tap out, you forget about your life, you pull something down from the universe. And if you're lucky, it works and you hope that it sticks. Why is Sam so beloved? I don't know. I think it's possibly she is a Londoner, so she has a different accent to a lot of the cast. Certainly that she's gay. So, you know, she stands out as someone proud of herself, proud of her sexuality. She stands out as unique because she's having that relationship with Femshep, if you choose to go down that route. She's funny. She's quirky. She's got her toothbrush and her chess, you know, and she's quirky. And also the BioWare writing is always brilliant. So I think that's why people love Sam so much. But you'd have to ask them.
So can you tell us a little bit about your role as the Inquisitor in Dragon Age?
So the Inquisitor sort of fundamentally changed my life because it's what took me from Samantha Trainer in Mass Effect to leading role of Inquisitor. Huge game. Fantastic response, both critically and commercially. And I love her. I love the Inquisitor. I do. I love her. I love the Inquisitor. I love her. Yeah.
Do you love her for what she's done for you in your real life?
Both.
Or do you love it? Okay.
What she's done for me in my real life, professional life, creatively. You know, she's flawed, she's messy, she's human, depending on who you play as. But, you know, she's humane, might be a better word, because obviously you can play as a Kunari or someone like that. And, you know, she's deeply feeling, she's funny. The Inquisitor to me is sort of the best of BioWare. So that's why I love her.
How do fans feel about you as the Inquisitor? How do your Dragon Age fans interact with you?
They're so lovely. The Inquisitor is probably what I get asked to sign most of at Comic-Cons, at conventions. Yeah, people love the Inquisitor. They love her, and they've spent hours and hours with her. They love that she came back in Veilguard. They love that they polished off the storyline with Solus. Yeah, I feel really personally quite sad that I will probably never play the Inquisitor again.
Well, never say never.
Never say never. Never say never. And I would love to, and I would be there in a heartbeat. But it just feels like she's so much a part of my gaming makeup that I love her deeply. Yeah.
What's been your strangest or funniest fan interaction?
Well, the most remarkable fan interaction for the Inquisition was the letter that I got about the woman who'd been in a coma and then who was in hospital for 6 months learning to walk again after she was in this horrendous car crash. That was kind of the most surreal. And then certainly, you know, there's a lot of talk about Inky's passionate love life with Iron Bull, heartbreaking romance with Solus, the fact that you can't get with Dorian pisses a lot of people off. But like the costumes that people come up to me and they make these incredible costumes. They have the Inquisitor tattooed on their arm. You know, they have just the wildest, most passionate stories about their time with the Inquisition. And I'm here for all of them.
I want to move on to Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk.
So how did you end up landing the role of Alt Cunningham?
I auditioned like everyone else. I auditioned with the sexist scenes.
They made you do the sex scene in the audition?
They made me do the sex scene.
Interesting.
Yeah. Not the moaning and groaning.
Sure.
But everything
Alex Jordan
around
does
it.
that. We know that already.
Yeah. Does he?
Yeah, he did all the sex noises in Baldur's Gate 3.
Shocked face. But yeah, it was the sexist sex scene. Was my audition scene, and then I waited a while for the call, which is pretty normal. And then on the first day, I walked in, and they went, "You're not going to believe who you're opposite." And I was like, "Tell me who I'm opposite." They went, "Keanu Reeves," and I went, "Oh, holy shit, fuck! Actually, yeah, that's quite big." And had a great time.
The obvious question is he as nice and as cool as the internet says he is?
He is. I never met him in person, but I did have him down the cans. So, and he always seemed delicious and delightful. So, yes, is the answer.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good to know. His reputation's safe.
Yeah. Like, I really want to meet him. I met
Me too.
Idris. Just pick that name up off the floor. So I meant Idris Elba. That's
nice.
what I meant.
Okay, cool.
I'll put that. Idris Elba at the launch party for Phantom Liberty.
Yep.
And he was really cool. And his wife is a gamer. So she asked Idris to take a picture of her with me and Jane Perry. And Jane Perry and I are like, oh my God, this is crazy. And Idris is on the other side of the camera and we're like, smile.
So everyone was having their fan moment. That's
she was a real fan. She's a real, her and Idris are gamers,
Amazing,
you know?
Yeah.
And she wanted her picture taken with me and Jane Perry. Who am I to say no? You know?
I came within a week of interviewing Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
This is years ago.
Yes.
We were doing like a 4-part series to celebrate Porsche.
Yes.
And he's got a big Porsche fan.
Right.
I think there's a photo on the internet.
You mean the
of him.
car?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Of him putting a Christmas tree on top of his incredibly expensive car, and he's just taped it to the top.
Why would you not?
Of course.
Why would you not?
And we were literally a week from flying to New York and filming him, and then he dropped out because it was his day off on John Wick 3.
Yeah.
I like to think he was too intimidated to meet me, but
which is possible.
It is possible, yeah. But yeah, obviously devastated. That would have been, I don't think I would have been able to do the interview professionally. I think I probably would have melted.
I feel like we will meet in the future.
I hope so.
And then I feel like it will be, yes. And then I feel it'll be like slightly awkward.
Like, who's this?
Because I feel like I'll be like, so we had, the audio sex.
Do you do the
audio sex?
Do you do the motion capture for that?
No, I didn't do the motion capture for that.
I did wonder though, how's it done?
I did not do the motion capture for that. And you can imagine how shocked I was when we went into the booth for pickups.
Right.
And naughty, I had not been forewarned as to what I would be witnessing on screen.
It's quite full on.
And they play it once, and I was like, I just have to take a moment, guys. Sorry. And they're like, do you want to see it again? And I was like, yeah, I should probably see it again to digest it, So it's like, I was as shocked as everyone else.
So but someone's done it though, right?
Someone has done it.
Who?
I don't know.
Some poor intern.
I don't think it was Keanu.
No.
It definitely wasn't me, and I don't think it was Keanu. Yeah. But it was our faces, like, obviously, on top. Yeah.
So what's it like
on
working
top.
with them? On top, nice.
It was our faces
we
on
love,
top.
We love a pun. We have a pun jar somewhere,
yeah.
pounding the pun jar. What's it like working with an incredible studio with, the kind of reputation that CD Projekt Red has?
It's fantastic. I mean, I really like them. They flew us out to Warsaw coming up to 2 years ago, me and Jane Perry, when they were doing lots of promo around Phantom Liberty. I met everyone. We went for dinner. We had borscht. Is that how you pronounce
I think so.
The Polish beetroot
soup? Yeah. With the cream, you've got cream on top, right?
Yeah, which is the dumplings. And drank far too much at the dinner, and they're really fun. I mean, Polish people are fun, right? They're really fun. And I am very excited for The Witcher 4.
Me too.
So, yeah.
Are you in The Witcher 4?
Not yet.
Okay. There's still time.
Not yet. I think there's probably still time.
When is the release date?
I need to send them an email today, actually. It just reminded me.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Send them an email.
We'll send them an email
Boris,
too.
there's an email coming your way.
With Alt specifically.
Yes.
How did you approach her human form and her AI form?
Very differently. Human form was a lot of standing on one hip, smoking, lowering your voice to there because, she's out all night and she's partying all day and she kind of doesn't really sleep. So there was a lot of that vocal quality. And then AI form was very much about standing up straight, and I'm not doing the voice perfectly, but it was all me and a lot of Tai Chi movements to keep myself floaty and grounded. At the same time, can you be floating grounded? I don't know. Apparently you can.
Alt can.
Yeah, Alt can.
She's all powerful.
Can do anything because she is really fucking powerful. So I really hope she comes back for the next one. Really, really hope. I know nothing about that, by the way, but I really hope she comes back for the next installment.
You anticipated my next question is if you could step back into Alt shoes
110%.
or Virtual Feet, but what would you be most excited to explore about her journey or her character?
Well, I can't answer that because I don't know enough about which direction they're going to go, but I would be very up for doing the PCAP. Specifically, I would like to be in a harness,
right,
doing wire work.
Nice.
Okay. And doing Alt's floaty voice above Keanu Reeves. That would be cool.
That would be very cool.
Have me in to do Alt's PCAP. Come on, guys. You can do it.
You can do it, Boris.
That's going in the email to Boris today as well.
And now I want to move on to Liza P. Overture.
Yes,
so
Liza P.
I'm right that you've been nominated for BAFTA.
I have been longlisted for the BAFTA Game Awards for Best Performer in a Supporting Role.
Obviously, being longlisted for a BAFTA is a huge performance. Congratulations!
Thank you.
How does it feel to have your work acknowledged at that level?
Really cool. Like really, really nice. I I love BAFTA. I think BAFTA do fantastic things. Of course, they do fantastic things for film and television, and that's very well documented. What consistently impresses me about BAFTA is how much they do for video games in the video game space. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but the UK is actually a powerhouse of production for video games. And, you know, Larian being one of them, Cloud Imperium being one of them. The list is endless, can't think of all of them. But we get huge tax credits here in the UK to make video games. We either produce or help produce or provide the voices for a plethora of brilliant video games. And BAFTA is kind of the central body that champions our work on an international level, because the BAFTA brand, it carries, right? It carries to the States, it carries to Australia, it carries to South Korea, it travels all over the world. So I am a big fan of what BAFTA do in the video game space anyway, full stop, new paragraph. So to receive, you know, a nod on the long list for best performer in a supporting role, it really does mean the world to me. I'm a BAFTA member. I've been a voting BAFTA member for games and film since 2018. So to me, I'm like, I've seen all that, you know, I feel really grateful, really humbled. And I love that they go by alphabetical name, because ALIX, I'm actually above Andy Serkis and Jeffrey Wright.
Sorry, Andy.
Sorry. And Andy Serkis is one of my number one inspirations ever because of his PCAP work. He is an icon in his own right, you know. And I'm sure that Andy will get the nomination and not me, because he's Andy Serkis and he deserves it. But just to be on that list is wonderful.
Well, I'd hope that they don't choose it just based on reputation.
No,
you'd hope they choose it on the craft.
Absolutely,
right?
but he is the absolute pinnacle of that craftsmanship.
Yeah.
He's kind of the inventor of PCAP.
And, we
so,
would very much like to have him on the podcast.
And Andy, they would very much like to have you on their podcast.
I didn't say it.
He didn't say it. I
Alix
said
Wilton
it.
Regan said it.
So, yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to.
I met his wife at a party
yeah.
recently, Lorraine, and we were talking. She was like, "Do you know my husband?" And I was like, "Oh, I know your husband very well. Yes, I know your husband."
I don't think I would be able to, even though it'd be horribly cringeworthy and we'd probably have to cut it, I don't think I'd be able to stop myself from trying to show him my Gollum accent that I've been perfecting since I was 11.
The pleasure's gold.
Well, exactly. It's not as good as yours.
Thanks.
With Leia,
Yes.
that's a prequel, right? Overture is a prequel to Lies of P.
Yes, but it's the DLC to Lies of
Okay.
P. But yes, it's the prequel. But yes, it's the DLC. Kind of
Cool.
work that out.
Cool. So we need like an infographic to explain.
Yes.
That'll pop up on screen right now.
And actually, I feel like it's not a prequel. I feel like
Okay.
it's the proper DLC follow-on, but it kind of is the prequel because she's the legendary stalker that's in... Someone can correct us online.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
What's it like jumping into a game like sort of at a later stage?
I really liked it because what was great was that I got to do loads of research on Lies of P before I went into recording. That doesn't happen very often. You know, if you're starting on Cyberpunk, you can explore the world of Cyberpunk and what does it mean, but Cyberpunk didn't really exist in its Cyberpunk 2077 form before we brought it up. Does that make sense? Like
Yes.
the genre of Cyberpunk existed, but the world that CD Projekt Red created didn't exist. What was great about doing Lies of P is it gives you something, it's like a springboard, right? So I could look at the visuals, I could read the story of what had previously come, I could understand the world. I got that it was a very poetic game, I got that it was a very beautiful game, and I got that it was a sort of sleeper hit that people weren't expecting, and that it's highly respected in the Souls genre. And all of that was just great information for me to take into the booth on the first day of recording. The team flew over from South Korea, which was lovely. So I had the core team from South Korea were in the booth with me, directing and kind of, you know, pushing it forward and constructing it with Mark Healy, who was the British voice director. And I felt very lucky to have their brains in the room. And they were so just encouraging and sweet and lovely and saying things like, you know, you brought Leia to life for us. Thank you so much. It's so funny when people say that because, of course, yes, actors do bring the characters to life. But I think the writers forget, like, we are nothing without the story. I am a script girl through and through. That's why I love film, because if you get a script or TV, but you have, a beginning, a middle, and end, you can study it as much as you want. With video games, that's the one thing that I sort of lack, that I mourn from the TV and film world. You never really get given a script. I got given an 800-page script on Assassin's Creed Origins, and I read that beast cover to cover, and then it all fucking changed. So it was, which it often does in video game world, So what I love about film and TV is you get that script, and that brings us full circle back to the power of the writer, the importance of the writing team, and they were sensational on Lies of P. And I think that's why everything just clicked into place and worked so well.
I think, and I'm sure you would agree, that the worlds of film and TV and games are, heading to, it's already smashed into each other like the Andromeda Galaxy. Yeah.
Last of Us, thank you.
It's finally happening in the way that we all sort of knew it would happen. It was just a matter of when.
Yes.
I think that's a good thing.
I think it's a great thing.
And I think that the way that acting in games is being recognised is like it's suddenly gone from, being seen as sort of almost lesser than film and TV and theatre. In the same way that, TV was seen as less than film and film was seen as less than theatre back in the day.
Absolutely.
Now it's finally having its place and getting the respect it deserves. How did you experience that at the Game Awards?
What I loved about the Game Awards this year, one of the things I noticed that I had never seen before at the Game Awards, and I certainly didn't see it when I was there in 2024, a lot of the trailers that they were playing were announcing their video game stars front and center of the project, as they should, as will, I suspect, be the new norm from now on. There was a trailer that played and it said Ben Starr, Amelia Tyler, someone else. There was another one that played which said Deborah Wild. And I was like, yeah, this is as it should be, because these are your stars. These are your actors bringing your characters to life, the same way that it happens in film or television. And I think it's creatively the right thing to do. I think it is commercially the sensible thing to do. If I was a producer, I'd be putting my cast front and center. Absolutely. I mean, I do produce and I do put my cast front and center because that is part of the package which helps to sell the product. And I found it hugely exciting to see, and they're all my friends, right? So I found it hugely exciting, first of all, to see their names up there. Then I felt really excited about when my name will one day be up there. And it just feels right. It just feels natural. And I think that people are starting to understand the commercial and critical success of video games in a way that they hadn't before. Casting directors probably still need to understand the medium of video games a bit more, I would say, because I think they struggle to understand it because they think that it's niche, but it's not niche. Video games globally, annually, gross more revenue than the entirety of the music industry and the film industry combined. You take the whole of music the world over, the whole of film the world over, you put them together, and video games eclipses all of it.
I don't know if this is still true, but I think that GTA 5 is the highest grossing piece of art ever made.
I'm sure.
Bar none.
And certainly Squadron 42, which I'm the player character in, is the highest piece of crowd-funded art ever. They've raised $900 million. It is the most expensive piece of art ever created. It will be sensational. I can see you're dying to ask something.
We're so ready.
I've seen it. It looks incredible. I've played parts of it. It's brilliant. The music will make you cry. I was there when they recorded it, when they recorded like some of the big orchestral pieces. And it's just, it's wildly ambitious. It will be brilliant, but also how fucking cool that it's a video game that is the most expensive piece of art ever made,
Where is it?
You have to ask people way more senior than me. I can tell you where it's being polished.
Yes.
But nah.
Tell us.
You're like, and I will go there.
We will launch a midnight raid.
I will go there. I know exactly where it's being polished.
I mean, in all seriousness, like me and many, many others have been waiting for that game since, I think it was 2012 it was announced. So tell us more about...
I joined in 2017.
Oh, there you go. So it was already 5 years in.
Yeah, I've been working it for a while.
It has an incredible cast.
Yes, it does.
What was it like working alongside some of the names I could reel off here, like Gary Oldman, Mark Hamill, Henry Cavill. I believe your husband's in it as well. Is that right?
Yes, my husband is.
Did you get to work alongside him?
I helped him get cast.
Very nice.
But because to it wasn't. I mean, it was the ultimate piece of nepotism.
Yeah, sure.
But basically, they had a shoot happening the next day, and I think they had an actor drop out, and they really needed actors who could come up the next morning. And this was like 5 p.m. on a Thursday. They said, we need actors who can get on the train at 7 a.m. on a Friday, come to Manchester, shoot for us, do a great American accent, and be great in a PCAP suit. And I was like, here's my top 5. And they all 5 got the job because they just needed actors, at short notice. It was something like that. So my Mark Hamill story is pretty good. I should probably share this. So I go to set. It was actually before I'd been officially cast as the player character. And the lovely producer, John Schimmel, who is still the producer, he says, you should come to set and like have a look at the technology we're using and kind of get a feel for it and just come and have a look around. So I arrive at Ealing Film Studios and there's some people on the stage, and one of them, I'm looking at him like this, and there's a wonderful engineer called James to my right, and I'm like, that guy in the middle looks really familiar. Who is he? And he goes, yeah, that's Mark Hamill. And I went, why would I know that name? What's he been in? Star Wars? And I was like, yeah, no, I saw Star Wars. Who was he in Star Wars? Luke Skywalker, Alix. And I was like, oh shit, fuck. And now everyone knows my Mark Hamill story.
Brilliant.
So, but he doesn't, he is a little bit older than he was.
It was a while ago, yeah.
Luke Skywalker. Yeah. So, give me some, some credit. But yeah, the cast is stacked. And insane.
It would have been funny as well if you'd have said, oh, you mean the trickster from the Flash TV show in the 90s.
He is a great Joker. Look, I know a lot of his voice work as the Joker. Him and Tara Strong are iconic as the Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So, he's just as good as the Joker as he is as Luke Skywalker.
And
right,
now that he's a game actor, one day we might be able to get him on the Radio Fire podcast.
You might. Yeah, he loves games. He loves voice work. He really appreciates them. Yeah.
What can you tell us, without breaching any NDAs, what can you tell us about Squadron 42? Other than, obviously, we're very excited. We know it's going to be gorgeous. Is there anything you can tell us about your specific part? I know you play the player character, right?
Yes. I think people will find, and I think I'm okay to say this, I think they will find it is a more emotional story than they would be expecting. Certainly, it took a lot of twists and turns that I wasn't expecting when I signed up for the project. It's really it really pulls on your heartstrings at points. It goes deep. And I think that's the thing that they kind of haven't advertised, there's going to be tears, definitely.
So no news on a release date. Okay. I'll try one more time. I tried, chat. I'm very excited though, and congratulations again for working on that. Now, obviously, the big news is that you have been announced as
me.
Lara Croft.
Yes, I have.
Lara Croft. We're talking to the real Lara Croft.
I know. It's crazy. It's still crazy even for me. It's still crazy even for me. And I've been doing this for 3 years. And I'm still yeah, I guess it's really happening.
So you've been working on it for 3 years before, and it was only announced at the time of recording, a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. I've been working, first auditions for me were 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's such an incredible, iconic character. I mean, I've said before that I feel like she's the closest thing that gaming has to a James Bond, where lots of people have, picked up the guns. A lot of people have put on the shorts and the teal top. What does it feel like to sort of step into those shoes in all those other women that have played her?
They are some very big boots to step into. It is surreal and it is thrilling and it is deeply humbling because I know how much it means to so many people. I know how much she means to me. I know how lucky I feel to have been cast in that role. I know that Lara is a cultural icon that transcends video games, actually. She's also had 3 films. She's had 2 seasons of an animated series, and now they've got the TV show, So Lara Croft has been on more magazine covers than any model ever. More than Cindy Crawford, more than Kate Moss.
Really?
She is the most featured woman on a magazine cover. Lara Croft is huge, and it's we do compare her to James Bond, and of course James Bond has gone into video games, but actually in some ways Lara Croft is kind of, it's not that she's bigger, it's just as a cultural phenomenon. She actually jumped out of video games and into film and animation and, you know, the cover of NME magazine or whoever else it was, you know. I think that's kind of wild to my brain, and it's brilliant. And I feel really proud that she happens to be a British woman like me, you know.
Is there anything
that bit is luck? Like being born a woman and British, that bit is luck. Well, you know, yeah.
Can you tell us anything about the two games out coming out are Legacy of Atlantis,
Tomb Raider: Legacy of Atlantis in 2026, and then Tomb Raider: Catalyst in 2027.
And what's the difference between the two games?
So the first game is a reimagining of Lara's debut adventure, and Catalyst is very much a new era for Lara.
So in a recent video essay, there's a YouTuber called The Critical Gamer, and I think he made a very good point. He's very excited.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And he said that he thinks one of the reasons that Lara Croft worked so well when she was, you know, debuted in, I think it was 1996.
1996. 30-year anniversary next year.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. She was sort of a complete antidote to the typical big muscular male stereotype. That's all you got. That was the only fare you got in video games those times. And she was different. She was cool. She was capable, collected, very intelligent.
She's still cool. She's still capable. Like, fans need not worry about that. She is still cool and capable and hyper intelligent, very funny.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Witty is a better word.
That's going to make everyone very happy, I think.
Yes.
Because I think, like, with the Survivor series, they went off on a tangent.
Yeah.
And they were good games, but I think, like, she was almost a different character. I know it's much younger in her career, but they almost tried to, like, bring her more into, like, the gritty era, like the Superman without the pants era. And it's like, you know,
Superman without the pants.
You know, the Man of Steel.
Sorry, did I just say that correctly? Okay, cool. We're going there. Yeah.
You know, like Man of Steel, because they took his pants off. He's just wearing blue.
Don't take off Superman's
exactly,
pants. You
I
can
agree.
Quote me on that.
But like, and now he's got his pants back on with the actor whose name I can't remember.
Yes,
but he did a
I
very
know
good
what you're
job.
talking about. Yeah.
So it's nice that for fans of Lara Croft, that it feels like, just from watching the trailers, it feels like a return to form.
Lara is back, baby. Lara is back and bigger than ever. I think fans are going to love the games. I think they're going to love the way that the writers have portrayed her. Hopefully, they'll love what I do. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Touch wood. I don't think this is wood. I think this is plastic, but I'm touching it anyway.
For the purposes of cinematic magic, it's
cinematic
wood.
magic. This is wood.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the dog's bollocks, man. Lara Croft is the dog's bollocks. And Amazon approved me to say that in a meeting. That's true.
That is an approved.
That is
okay,
an
great.
approved statement. I was sat there with like the Amazon bigwigs, and I was like, I want to think of a sentence that feels really British, that we can say, that's like a bit, you know, cheeky about Lara. And there's like this pause and this silence. And I went, what about the dog's bollocks? And the big guy went, yeah, I like that.
Do they understand what bollocks mean?
I don't think they do.
No. Okay, cool.
No, they got it. They got
Okay,
it. They got it.
Have you, so I assume you played Tomb Raider?
Yes, I played the remaster of the original game.
Yes, which is done incredibly well.
Yes, and I'm still walking into walls and bashing my head against things.
Have you locked Winston in the freezer?
No, I haven't locked Winston in the freezer.
You have to lock Winston in the freezer. That's a rite of passage.
Noted.
Lock him in the freezer. Just because he follows you around all the time, he's so annoying.
Noted.
Sorry,
Noted.
Winston. So you're not just the voice for Lara. Am I right in thinking that you're also the face and you're doing all the motion captures? So you're full PCAP for this character.
Yeah. With the dots on my face and the head cameras. And for people who don't know what PCAP is, it's exactly what we're talking about with Andy Serkis, and he is the godfather of PCAP, and it's how they make Avatar is the best way I can describe it for people.
That's a good way to describe it, I think.
Yeah, it's how they make Avatar.
How do you prepare for like such an action-heavy role?
You got to be physical. You got to be grounded. You got to be in your body. You know, I'm quite an active person anyway. I like going to the gym. I like lifting heavy weights. I really like it when the guys at that gym are like, do you want me to take that 25 kilo off? And I'm like, no, actually, I was just going to get another 25 to add. Are you done? Because this was a bit light for me. And I am that woman at the gym.
Good.
Yeah. I am that woman at the gym.
That's very in character though. That's what Lara would be.
Yeah, exactly. Like Lara is a badass, man. And certainly I have the ability to kind of pull that out of myself when I'm feeling more confident. I've also had huge wobbles. You know, I've had huge wobbles in taking on this character because it is a high pressure role. It is the kind of head of a franchise, you know, or certainly the face of a franchise, I should say. I'm not the head of the franchise. That's, you know, the the kind of very powerful men in the upper echelons of Amazon and Crystal Dynamics, but I'm the face and I want to get it right. I want everyone to love her. Like, I really want them to love these games. I love them. I think you guys will love them, but we'll have to see.
When you got the role,
yes,
did any part of you think I need to go back and look at all the other women that have played, like Keely Hawes?
So I had to go through 4 rounds of auditions. So I did most of my prep and my research on Lara during those rounds of auditions.
Okay.
And I would say, certainly in this universe, there are no Laras left behind. Everyone's portrayal and performance of Lara is valid and is important and has informed, elements of what we're creating now, definitely. On a personal note, Angelina Jolie is like my personal goddess / heroine. Hot, Gemini, hyper intelligent, speaks at the United Nations, like everything I love in women. The perfect Lara Croft.
I used to have the poster on my wall, which is a sad thing to admit as a 36-year-old man, but
great.
Incredible poster.
I
liked the artwork.
It was a good poster. Yeah. I think I have that exact picture of her in a bikini.
Okay, interesting.
On the wall of my office.
Talk afterwards. You were lined up to play Joanna Dark in the remake of Perfect Dark, one of my favourite games growing up. Without getting you in trouble.
Yes.
The project was cancelled. Do you know why, and how did it make you feel?
I mean, I certainly don't know why it was cancelled in terms of the ins and outs on a business level, because on a creative level, I'd read the script, I'd read outlines, I'd seen a lot of the animation, I'd seen hours and hours of gameplay. All the work that we were doing was brilliant. So Joanna Dark was also full PCAP at the same time as shooting Lara Croft, which even to my mind was like, there's no better word than like, but it was brilliant and thrilling and really exciting that for about a year I was both Joanna Dark and Lara Croft. That was amazing. To this day, I feel sad about the fact that Perfect Dark was cancelled.
I think we all do.
It goes so much deeper than just a game, right? It goes to the entire ecosystem of creativity that was developing, producing, shooting this work to bring it to you guys. Everyone on that project was wildly talented. It was a very collaborative process, which is how I like to work. I'm not into tight to control. Control, you squeeze and you squeeze and you squeeze, and sometimes you can suffocate the thing. I'm into collaboration. I'm into open hands. I'm into yes and, as the phrase goes in the acting world. Yes and. And the creatives behind Joanna Dark were very much yes and. And I was really shocked. We were recording 2 weeks before I got the news that the funding had been pulled. So to my mind, I was like, 2 weeks? I was really shocked and really surprised. And I really mourned that role. I really mourned that game because she deserves her place in the sun.
100%.
And it feels sad that that's not going to happen.
As I say, I remember playing that game with my brother.
Yeah.
And because it borrowed a lot from GoldenEye, didn't it? And it was just like having facility was felicity.
Yeah.
But I remember winding him up because I used to get the alien rifle that could see through walls, the Farsight, and just shoot him through the walls. And he used to get very angry and hurt me because he's bigger than me. But
and
he didn't.
The thing I loved about Joanna is she was a Londoner. She was a Londoner, and she had a really cool, sassy edge to her that I liked. And the story was so good. That's what I feel sad about, is that you guys are never going to know how interesting, fun, dynamic, and brilliant the story was, which combined a lot of real-world elements. And it was just really well done. The interweaving themes of the plot were really cleverly done. So to me, it's sad that you guys aren't going to experience that.
Yeah, just as a meta comment on the industry. We all saw the gameplay. We saw the trailers and things like that, and it looked slick. It was slick. It was a game that everyone would have played. It just makes you wonder. I've never made a game, and I know it takes years and years and years. Lots of money, lots of people. It just makes you wonder what went on to make that decision. That we've got this far in the line and we don't think we're going to make a recoup what we've spent.
It certainly was not creatively based. That was my sense from being on the inside. It was nothing to do with the quality of the work we were making. My sense is that the financial backers loved what we were making, but, you know, shit happens.
So we always ask our previous guest to leave a question for our next guest.
Okay.
And our previous guest was the lovely Alix Jordan.
We love Alix Jordan.
We love Alix Jordan. And he has asked us, well, it's an interesting question. There's a series of questions in rapid fire.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go for it. And
okay.
I hope you will follow me.
Okay.
Would you and why? And
yes, I would.
You would? And if so, how many?
3 or 4.
Depending on how many, how long would it take you?
About 10 years.
There you go, Alix. There's your answers. Alix Wilton Regan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This has been the Radio and Fire podcast. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.